sometimes are just the 5-inch pencil, the larger one. You want something big, 5 inches, 3 hooks, that type thing. So your setup on those topwaters, this is, when you're talking big topwaters, I know other parts of the country you're not throwing over cane, but you do throw big topwaters a lot in the summer. Your setup on these topwaters, I feel like, is one of the most crucial things as far as being effective at working it, effective at hooking them, and landing them. So the problem when you're throwing, let's say the Yo-Zuri pencil, I don't know the exact weight on it, but I'm saying it's got to be 7/8 ounce, maybe an ounce. It's hard to find the right setup to throw it out there, work it all day without killing yourself, yet hooking a fish and not lose them because your rod's too stiff. It's really, really hard to do. So I know the first cup I fished at Murray throwing topwater over cane, I didn't have a rod that was, it wasn't the perfect rod for doing it. So I was throwing my rod on a 7/6 medium heavy because you needed that to throw that heavy bait. But by the end of the day, I couldn't lift my arms. Working that bait like as fast as I could all day, I couldn't lift my arms by the end of the day. So that 7/6, it was a little stiff, and then I lost a few fish because of it. So when you're talking these big, big topwaters, I always throw it on 30-pound braid generally. That's just my setup. Sometimes I'll use a loop knot, sometimes I use a snap swivel depending on the bait. But 30-pound braid, and I designed a rod. It's a 7/4 medium heavy, but it's got a moderate regular action. It's medium heavy power, but it's a moderate or regular action. You want that parabolic to be able to throw it out there, yet it's medium heavy so it can handle those heavier baits. Use a fast ratio reel, a STX 7.3-to-1 Abu Garcia setup. But when it comes to your little tricks on landing fish on that topwater, that rod will help. But what I always like to do on my topwaters, I always throw 3 hooks if I can, because a lot of these fish, they swat at those great big topwaters because they're so big. It's going to take a 9-pounder, to get the whole bait in its mouth, which you're usually catching on average probably 2 to 3 pounders. So they're mostly swatting at that bait. So you want really, really sharp round bend hooks. See a lot of people probably have different opinions on this, but I see a lot of people put EWG hooks on their topwaters. If you're talking like a popper, I will do that sometime. That's okay, because a small popper, fish comes up, eats the whole bait, they've got it in their mouth, that EWG catches them. And when you hook them, they don't come off. That is accurate. But when you're talking a great big topwater, if you put an EWG hook up, your bait's working across the top and the fish comes and slaps at it. They're mostly just trying to knock it. If you got an EWG, there's really nothing to stick and catch on to something. So with spots especially, but largemouths also with a big bait, round bend hooks are essential. And a lot of people go up in sizes. I don't. Quite often when you're talking these larger topwaters and spots, I do this mostly for spots. A lot of times I actually go down to a lighter wire and smaller hook in size, because when they swat at it, you just got like little tacky sharp something to stick to them. That's only if they're swatting. Like, I know there's been days on Hartwell before, Lanier, where I've been throwing a big topwater for spots and had 40 bites and caught 6. And that's just spots nature. They don't eat anything, and they're hitting that big topwater. A lot of times you can try going to a slightly smaller or lighter wire hook to where it's sticky. You don't want any of those beefy hooks on your topwaters unless you're catching really big fish that are eating the whole bait, which is rare with the big topwaters. So I like a wide gap only on a popper, and it's not always. If I think they're kind of swatting at my popper, I don't. It's when you're fishing brim beds, like I said, a lot of times you see those fish come eat the bait, and they got the whole bait in their mouth. And the EWG is okay if you prefer that style hook. But round bend on big topwaters for sure for those swatting fish.
And the information Bass University provides isn't your basic run-of-the-mill fishing video. This is specific information from A to Z to help you learn, get to the water, and become a better angler quickly.